Good. Okay, so I guess this is probably quorum then, huh? Let's start up. Laura, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. Yesterday, I spent my time going through Agile Ventures AdWords, just kind of figuring out what Sam's done. I just paused the charity ad because it was wasting money, and so I'm going to carry on working with that tomorrow. And just carry on configuring because it does take some time. Then this morning, I've had quite a quiet morning, so I've been working on MetPlus, finishing up on the UX designs for all the login areas. And I've created the pages on Wiki and linked them through to the homepage. I'm sending you through all the UX designs for approval as I'm done. So no blockers from me.
Okay, so I see that you sent me, it looks like two file sets, one for case manager and one for job developer.
Yeah.
And that's a complete set for today?
Yeah, that's it. So I'm carrying on. As I finish, I'll just send them through to you.
Okay, great. Okay, I will take a look at them this morning, and if I have any questions, I'll reach out to you on Slack.
Okay, perfect.
But I'll get those uploaded to the wiki right away.
Thanks.
So the other question I had is that you said the charity ad was wasting money. You mean it wasn't getting any response, but we're spending a lot of money on it? Is that what you meant?
Well, yeah. So I was just looking at how it was set up, and he hadn't set it up in the right area. And also, I understand that he's trying to drive traffic to the page, but there's no call to action on the page.
Oh.
That stands out. So he's getting hits. And also I looked at the keywords, and the keywords don't really make sense of what he's added there. So I'm just going to put a whole lot of suggestions together and put it out there. But I just need to do all the research and pull the keywords, which takes a bit of time.
Oh, yeah. I guess you're right, though. If you think about a charity looking for IT help, if they went to our site, it's going to not speak to them at all. It's set up for developers.
Not that one. No, the other one.
The other one, the static one.
Yeah, the other static. Yeah. The other static website. So, yeah, I was just going through it last night. Just had to make some suggestions there.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so
good.
I'm optimizing. I'm still optimizing the actual one for the developers because that's still not right and it's wasting money. Also, because I can see the bounce rate is very high on the Google stats, which means that we're not getting the right kind of people. So we're just wasting those clicks.
Yeah,
but we'll get there. I mean, it's the first month is kind of just kind of fixing, optimizing, changing. So by month 3, 4, 2, and 3, we should start getting the right people coming to the site.
So that's your experience in the past? The first month is trial and error until you kind of start getting it right?
For all our clients. We manage it for all our clients. So first month is always trial and error, tweaking, changing. Okay. And then second month should be better.
All right. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, I haven't been involved, but I've never been involved in an effort like that. So it's interesting to watch. I'm learning stuff just watching it. So that's all good.
That's it. And if you don't do it right from the beginning, you can waste a lot of money, which is what's happening. But yeah, we'll fix that.
It's wasted money plus lost opportunity of not reaching out to the correct people. So
exactly.
Okay, great. Good to hear. Thanks for the update. Paul, how about yourself? How are things going with you?
Well, just to refresh your memory, Patrick, working on the job search changes.
Yep.
And we had a pair programming and working on the footer to remove the post or the search resumes and list jobs. and then raise 2 new stories, which I did to do that, to put them into the footer, and also to make the status of the job a fully fledged column, sortable and searchable.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So I raised both of those.
I remember that.
Yeah. Now I had some further changes to make. I had to put the revoke and edit button back into the search jobs list, so that it could take the place of what was the old jobs index.
Right. The old jobs index, if you were a company person, you could see revoke.
You can see
and
edit and revoke buttons. So that's all done and all working. Now wrestling with the Cucumber tests to test that. Now in the old job index, it had a job number ID, and the expect page CSS, or to have CSS looked for that job ID. Now, to my way of thinking, that's not really the way it should work. If it's a Cucumber test, it should be based on what the user sees. So that to me seemed a bit of a fudge. So I'm trying to make the Cucumber test so it recognizes visual elements on the page, not hidden attributes.
Yeah, there were quite a few places where people were using actual IDs in the Cucumber step. And then they're just doing a jQuery looking for that DOM ID, the HTML ID. It's not pretty. You're absolutely right. I think they did that because what if you have I'll tell you, why don't we come back to this discussion once we're done with Scrum? Because I think this is an interesting discussion.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I didn't know, thanks to the update, I didn't know where you were on that story. I did note that you've got merge conflicts, but you're still in the middle of finishing up the story anyway.
Yeah.
Once we do that, just to confirm the prior plan, once you've got that story in place, I think Laura and I have to powwow on what the final look of the footer is going to look like.
Yeah.
Once it's stopped being a moving target, and then we'll create stories or a story to finalize the footer. But
yeah, well, that story, that new one is in there. You'll see it. Add that into the mix for the footer.
Okay, because I created a story as well, a placeholder story for footer finalization. I think I'll have to look at that. Maybe we have conflicts there, or we can merge them into one story. I'll have to see.
Yeah, probably can.
Yep. Okay, good. All right, great. Thank you. For myself, let's see, for MetPlus, I've done a bunch of PR reviews. I merged 2 PRs from Hinesh over the weekend. I created a bunch of stories yesterday for testing. We're still at 92% coverage, or a little bit less than 92%. So I want to get that up to high 90s. So I probably created about 10 stories yesterday based upon the major culprits in testing scoring. On the Swedish dog industries project, SHF, so-called, I reviewed PRs. I also submitted 2 PRs since we talked Friday, which have been merged subsequently. For today, for MetPlus, I'll work on the images upload for Laura's UI design, get that done. I have to look at an issue that Stella's having. She's trying to work on the Ruby. We're trying to upgrade Ruby from 2.2.2 to 2.3.3 or 2.4, if we can go that far. And she's having some issues that I need to look at. We have a client meeting today on MetPlus at 15:30 UTC. So I need to review the agenda. And if anybody wants to join, feel free. But we're going to just go over, I'll probably demo. I at least can demo the UI front page, and I think some other stuff that's been done on the UI. I have to put it together. But he'll start seeing the last meeting. We didn't have anything on the UI redesign ready to show him. So that'll be fun to show him. That good stuff today. On the Wiki Ed project, I worked I'll work on a story. I took a story on that. And SHF, I took a story. I'll be working a little bit on that too as I find time. And that's pretty much it for me. So I think that's the Scrum. So Paul, let's go back to your discussion. Could you frame that again, what you're trying to do in the cucumber testing?
Really, maybe I could share my screen.
Yeah, sure.
So let me see. Just have a look at, it's really around the manage job status feature. So in the job steps, let me just find an old one. Yes, now you see that the old test had expect page to have CSS #job #job ID. So it was looking for an ID with of the job number.
Yeah, I see.
That was in the old index view.
Yep.
Job index view. But it's not in the job search view. So it doesn't find it. So rather than putting it in there, I've attempted to look for something that is visible rather than the ID of that element.
Can I ask you, so Paul, in the in the current job search view that you've got, don't we have the job title clickable to go to see the job itself? Or how do you go? So the job ID would be in that job title column, right?
Yeah, it is.
So we could still use the job ID in this step if we wanted to, I assume.
Yeah, and there probably is a way to do it. There was another one a bit further down. I'll just show you this one. So this is where it was finding the job ID and and then clicking it. So I replaced that with find XPAR and then the XPAR button with the text of revoke and then clicking that, and that works.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Yep.
So to me, that seems a much better solution. So I think I've only really partway through doing all of this, but there's a couple of other similar tests that I need to replace in the same sort of way, maybe using an XPAR rather than using a find CS, have CSS.
Yeah, so that looks good. I would say that I think either way that's being done, 75 or 76 work for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because the step
75 doesn't work anymore. Because
well, I mean,
job ID is missing.
Again, I don't understand why the job ID is missing from the
It has an ID equal to job number.
But isn't that available in the page for the job search? Isn't job ID there? It's not? Well, how do you go from, can't you click on a title to go see the job? And which means there's got to be an ID on that page because the link has to go to that.
On the view. It's in the partial search jobs list. So that's when you talk about the job title. There's a link to.
Yeah. So which points, the link is to the job path, and if it's past a job, and so that will have an ID in it, right?
Yeah. Oh, the ID is there, but I don't know how to find that using the have CSS matcher.
Do you have the?
That just seems to.
So.
for an ID, like an HTML tag ID, and it also takes account. That's the other parameter. There doesn't seem to be any options.
I see what you're saying. In the old index page, it dutifully set up an ID for each job that it listed. It created it on the fly in the view based upon the ID.
And I wonder if they did that purely to make the test work.
I'm wondering. You may be right. Interesting. Yeah. So I see your problem. It wasn't. I thought you were doing this because you don't want the acceptance tests themselves, the steps, they shouldn't have things like IDs in there because they're supposed to be something that a client can look at and understand.
That's right.
And so when we put IDs in an actual test step visible to the user, it breaks all that intent.
That's right. So that's why I'm, I suppose doing it the hard way, but that's why I'm doing it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, in the job in the job search view, you actually could create the ID that 75 is looking for, or you are doing it the hard way, but it's probably a good way because you're not embedding an ID simply for testing purposes in the view.
Yeah, and I mean, if you interpret this, it's actually looking for a row in the table with HR manager.
Yep.
I mean, you could replace that with a variable, but it was set up to be hard coded for HR manager.
Was it?
In itself is, in itself is ideal, but just to get it working.
Yep, just to get it working.
I kept it hard coded, but yeah, I could replace that with a regular expression.
That'd be good if you could. So this is working though. This step works.
Yeah, some works.
Okay, good.
But I don't know if I've got. So that's my test. So it, and I click the revoke button and I wait for 1 second, then I should see revoke confirmation. Then I click the revoke confirmation for HR manager, and then I should see revoked next to HR manager.
Mm-hmm.
So you expected to find CSS #job2 spam, and it didn't. But that's where it used to be. So that test I haven't changed yet.
Oh, I see.
So I also need to change that so it works in a similar way.
Can you show me?
Looking for that.
Can you show us the search job view as it exists now with your additional revoke button and all that stuff? No, I mean the actual running live app.
Oh, yeah, sure. You can see this is the footer down here now.
Sorry, say that again? No, I meant if we could just see the jobs view, if you could click on jobs at the top.
That was just bright line.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can see these have been revoked and it has the status against them.
Mm.
These ones are widgets jobs. So the widget person, company person can revoke or edit them. So revoke brings up the modal.
Yeah.
And then it displays the flash message and redisplays the search form now with the status of revoked against it.
Yeah, I think what we had talked about before was just adding a status column here, and it just lists the status.
It does. That's the status column there. The problem that I had was that these used to be on the old job index. And
No, I
because
know.
I'm eliminating that, I thought I had to really preserve them so that you could still revoke and edit from this list of jobs, which is really replacing the old jobs list.
Yeah, no, I got you. The problem that I have, and maybe it's okay, but this is now really, really busy. So my thought when we were talking before was we just have a status column. By the way, we need a status title and all that business, right? But
yeah, well, that's the subject of that new story that I've created.
Yeah, for this story, I think it would be good to have if we're going to show status, we should have status as a column. And the idea was that if you're coming, you can click on the title of the job, to which you can go to a view where you can actually revoke, edit, etc.
You can still do that.
Oh no, it's just saying. What I'm saying is, I didn't foresee putting the actual controls, those buttons, on this view because it gets just too wide, too busy. I don't know. See, now you can do everything you need to do. No, I know that's still available. Got it.
Yeah, you could do that before.
My point is,
you could also do this from the old index.
I know, but we did. Yeah, but we don't necessarily need to do those controls here just because the old index had it. Because we're redesigning the thing, right? So my inclination would be let's leave those controls out, the revoke and edit. If you want to do that, you can click on the title as a company person and then do whatever you want to your heart's content on the next view.
Yeah.
And I would just like to have status as the last column, a sortable column. Yeah, and then you already have revoke. See, you've got revoke and edit stacked on each other there. If we actually did this correctly, and I know you're just working on it, they would be next to each other in separate columns. And now we've got what, 9 columns? I don't know, too many columns on this view. I don't know, Laura, you want to weigh in on this? What is your feeling on this? Maybe you haven't been involved with this, but what's your sense? Sorry, Paul?
I wouldn't. Sorry. I would also keep it simple.
Yeah, so go ahead, Paul.
What would you suggest, Lara? Would still make this an extra column for status?
Yeah, definitely.
But not have the buttons, as Patrick suggests.
Let me just see. Sophie, can you just open the doorway, please? Sorry. Yeah. Would you need? Do you need to edit those details?
Well, yes, you can. But as Patrick says, you can click on the link.
Yeah.
And that'll take you to an edit screen.
Then I wouldn't have the edit button there then, because it's just duplicating.
Well, the other thing too, Paul, is that if you're going to revoke a job, I'd rather the person go and look at the job and see the actual applications that have been submitted for the job, as opposed to just revoke I'm being a little bit flip here, willy-nilly without really understanding what's happening with the job.
Yeah.
So have the revoke on the actual customer data architect.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then they revoke it there, and then it shows revoked on the status. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so now I'm looking at the actual job. I see that I've actually got a bunch of people who've applied to this job. And I got to make a decision. Do I want to look at these people? How do I want? If I really want to pull it back, I still may want to talk to some of these people. Who knows?
Yeah. Look, good point.
I think
I'll do that. I'll remove the buttons, make that a title, and also add it to the search form so that they could search on status.
The problem is that the search form itself would contain that column only if the logged in person is allowed to see status. Or do we limit that? No, wait a minute. No, let me think that through. Can anybody see status of the job? Revoked, etc.? or not?
I'm sure they must be able to. I mean, I'm sure the company. Let me just get the.
Well, they saw it before on the index.
Yeah.
Field.
I think you can tell from the form. Status. No, I don't think it.
On the old index?
Job status capitalized. So if it's not active, it displays that. I don't think. It's restricted in some other way.
No, on the old index view, though, Paul, it wasn't restricted, right?
I'm
sure it wasn't.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, because I based that on the old index.
Yeah. So, and does every job have a status by I guess it does, right?
Yeah, but I think it's either active or revoked. There's only two
active or revoked.
Statuses or states.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Which makes it a bit overkill, perhaps, to search by. So maybe if I leave it off the form, just add it as a, a sortable title.
Let's do that, and we have another story then, which is to make the job searchable by status. But I don't. We've already expanded the scope of the story a number of times. We got to limit it now. So let's do that. Let's add status.
Okay.
It's not searchable, but it shows up. The revoke and edit controls go away, and I think we're good. And so we'll need a status column at the top. I still like to be able to sort by status. So we have a status, and you can click on that, and it's sortable.
Yeah. All right.
Hold off now because. Yeah, try that, Paul. You may find that you can't sort because we're not including the status column in the search. I forget how the ransack gem will work on that one. Yep, put it in there and try to make it sortable. And if it doesn't sort, then remove it from just make it a static column that you can't click on to sort. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it might work, even though we're not making that column searchable. You have to experiment a little bit on that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that'll work, but give it a shot. Okay, so I'm glad we talked. So status, not searchable. It'll be 1, 2, 3. What is our 7th column here? You may or may not be sortable depending upon what you can figure out there. And the actual controls to manipulate the story, set status will be left to the actual job page itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other index was, to be honest, a complete mess. It showed just a title, and the only use it had was that revoke and edit buttons on there. It was basically the only piece of information, and those were only available to company people.
Yeah.
It was a bad design, period. So we definitely don't need to replicate that.
No.
And Laura's right.
It'll be gone now under this story.
Be gone. Well, this is good. We probably should have these kind of UI discussions more often. I think they're really useful.
Yeah.
See, especially this is a big story, and it's evolved. So these discussions have been really helpful to me.
One question though: is there an unrevoke?
There's not at this moment. That's something
I don't think so.
Yeah. It's obviously something that would be requested in the future by the client, I would think. I made a mistake, or I just want to put it on hold, and then I want to bring it back when I'm ready to start the hiring process.
They might want to introduce additional states.
Absolutely.
Rather than active and revoked.
That will happen, definitely, no doubt about it. Right now, it's the simplest models you can get. It's like you said, two states. Yep. Yeah.
So there might be more reason to search by it in the future than there is now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
So, Paul, do you want to take it upon yourself to create another story, which is to make the status searchable in this view?
I've already done that.
Oh,
that was one of the other. I'll make the 2 stories. I might need to. Well, I'll leave it as it is.
Okay.
You know, status is searchable.
Okay.
A full column, but I can take the column out because that becomes part of this story that I'm already working on.
Gotcha. Okay, so you had already put that in the other one of the 2 stories you created. Perfect. Great. Okay, good. Yeah,
Wow.
that's looks good. I think I like that. The overall design once we finalize it.
Yeah, the buttons are a bit ugly, but they're fine anyways.
Well, I think we would have put them side by side rather than stack them.
Yeah.
And then we've got a really busy view here.
That's right.
Yeah. And those buttons really would take up space, but they'd only be showable for a company person. And so we get into that complexity as well.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Aren't you glad you took this story?
Well, as always, it's been a real learning curve.
Yeah, well, that's the point, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, this is actually a significant, really big story, and it creates a much better user experience in my view than the useless job index that we had.
Yeah.
So it's important to get it right.
Yeah. Well, in my view, the fewer steps you have to take to accomplish something, the better.
Right, right.
The simpler you can make it.
Yep. Okay, sounds good.
Right.
All right, Paul, looks good. So anything else on this that we should discuss?
No, I think we covered it.
Okay, cool. All right, then. Anybody else have anything?
No, not from my side.
Okay, great. All right, well, thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
And we will we'll talk again tomorrow, huh?
Okay.
All right.
Bye for now.